Okay, so since we're all good to start and we are already live, hello and good day everyone. Welcome to today's AMP session here at Crypto Nexus Community. So of course, we are very excited to have you all here as we discuss the latest updates, some structural changes and roadmap direction of Max Quick. So this AMA guys is designed to address some of the most frequently asked questions coming from you guys, from the community, especially around the recent upgrades, decentralization, transparency, and of course, what lies ahead for the ecosystem. So, we'll move through each question step by step to make sure that everyone can follow along clearly. So, with that said, let's jump right in by welcoming our lovely guest from Max Quick. Today, we're going to be joined by Lee. So, hi, Lee. Welcome to Crypto Nexus. Say hi to all of our audience in Binance Square.
Hello, everyone. I'm so happy to be here. And I'm Lee from the operational and the marketing department of the MQT. So today I'm going to briefly introduce the content of the platform upgrade and address some issues that everyone is concerned about. Really honored to be here and to participate today's AMA. And let's start.
Thank you very much, Lee, for that really lovely introduction. Once again, the Crypto Nexus community is very glad to have you on board. So, let us get our Amy started by, of course, addressing some of the most frequent questions that we've been getting from the community. So, Lee, to kick things off, let us start with a topic that directly impacts the sustainability and also the long term growth. And of course, since we're all focused, on discussing the structural changes to upgrade, I believe this is something that the community has been curious about since the perpetual upgrade went live. So, Lee, has the revenue structure changed after the perpetual upgrade?
Yeah, it's a very good question. This question, I think the source of revenue does not fundamentally change. It still comes from market trading behavior. And the difference is that after the execution layer stabilizes, efficiency is higher and the risk coverage is more complete and the revenue structure become more stable, not more aggressive, which is benefits to our users. Yeah.
Got that, Lee. Thank you very much for breaking that down to our audience. Of course, it's very important to understand how the upgrades affect the revenue. It really helps the users to better assess the long-term direction and stability. So thank you, Lee, for that. Now, moving ahead, let us move into a question around execution and transparency. So, moving ahead to another question, Lee. This can actually sound intimidating to some users, especially those who value openness, and visibility in trading systems. So, I think it's important for us to clarify how this mechanism works and whether it aligns with the platform's principles. So, Lee, does the dark pool execution reduce the transparency?
So our answer is actually the price sources are transparent and the index mechanism are transparent too. And what is not public visible is the order structure. And the core of the dark pool is to protect liquidity efficiency and not to hide rules. Yeah, this is basically the point.
Got that. Thank you, Lee. I appreciate that clarification. And to be honest, that distinction you just gave us, it helps to separate, of course, the misconceptions, right, around how the system actually functions. So thank you for that clarity. Now, Lee, let us zoom out a little and let's talk about decentralization. Because as we know in this space, Lee, right, decentralization is a word that we hear everywhere in crypto. But its meaning can actually vary. It can vary widely depending on implementation. So, actually, for many users, it's not just a buzzword, but it can be a core value. So, Lee, from Max Quick, okay, what does decentralization truly mean?
Yeah, decentralization is very important in Web3. I'm gonna brief introduce that based on our platform. So it means basically three very important specific things. The first one, I'm gonna say the capital structure changes. For example, after future criticalization and user funds will not be concentrated in platform accounts and funds will reside on chain contracts and the rules are written into contracts and execution is triggered according to the rules. And the platform does not directly move users' funds, which is very important. And next one is going to be rules are public. revenue distribution, settlement logic, and permission structures will all be written into the protocol and not adjusted by the platform at will. So they operate according to the rules. And the third one, rules are layered. The platform is responsible for system operation, risk control maintenance, and upgrades. And the protocol is responsible for rule execution found on chain. These three layers are separate. This is what decentralized means basically from our platform. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Lee, for that. Actually, that explanation, it adds very important context, right? I believe it helps the community to understand decentralization not just as a concept, but as a practical design choice, right? So thank you, Lee, for explaining those, basically three pillars on MaxQuick's approach on decentralization. Now, moving ahead, Lee, let us move into one of the most anticipated topics. So, actually, Lee, this is a question that naturally comes up whenever a project shows strong momentum. I mean, I know that the community tuning in and the community that you currently have is very eager to understand the timelines, right? The readiness and the thinking behind the launch planning. So, Lee, we just want some, little sneak peek into the future. So, we just want to ask Lee, when will the token launch?
Yeah, I know everyone is interested in this topic. So we're gonna say when the protocol layer structure is major and the revenue capture mechanism is clear, and even the governance structure is stable, and the token will naturally have a functional value. And we are basically not issue tokens based on time, but we based on structure and our product. And we would announce this information on our official channel, and hope everyone can follow it and check the latest news. Yeah.
Thank you very much for that, Lee. That is really fantastic. And of course, thank you very much for addressing that because, like we mentioned, this is something that really sparks the interest of the community, right? And having clear communication around timelines, it can definitely help to set the realistic expectations. And I think this itself, that you guys are addressing this, it helps in building the long term trust. So, thank you so much for that update, Lee. So, guys, to all of our audience, to all of the community members, please kindly check out all of the social media links of Max Quick so you can get the latest updates. Please follow it, guys. I believe the Crypto Nexus team has posted it already in our official global chat. So if you're still not in it, guys, please kindly follow, join their socials so you can, be posted on the future updates. Thank you once again, Lee, for that. Now, Lee, let us talk about staking, okay? Because staking is often seen as a key pillar for user participation and ecosystem alignment, right? For some of the most components like that. And I know that many in the community would want to know not just if staking is coming, but how far along it really is. So, to get some updates, of course, presented for our audience, Lee, what stage is staking currently in?
Yeah, yeah. Actually, everyone can participate in staking, and but we need to promise that and make sure everyone could benefit from that, and our system and products goes well. So it is in the capability expansion phase. When the execution layer is stable and the efficiency is proving, and the protocol layer is being designed, and the participate in staking means participating in the growth of liquidity capabilities, and which is very important. And not participating in a short-term event. Yeah, and we have different contracts, and everyone can experience that.
Got that, Lee. Thank you so much. That insight is very helpful. And I know it gave the community a clearer picture of where things stand right now as we speak and what to watch out for up next. So I think that really brought the excitement to our audience. Thank you very much, Lee, for that. And I think those are all the questions I got here for today, Lee. Thank you very much for answering each and every one, for giving us, a clear picture, a broader picture on what the changes has, how the changes has been, what the community needs to know, of course, to be updated. But before we close, Lee, can I ask you for A quick closing remark, of course, for our audience. Any message you'd like to leave to our community, or any call to actions that you'd like to leave?
Sure. Actually, we are today going to talk about we're going to talk about the path forward after the completion of perpetual contracts upgrade. Actually, because it's have been complicated for us, this demo is just a feature release, and it signifies the end of the phrase. So the execution layer capabilities have stabilized, and I'm gonna clarify what it means. So the first one is very important is stability implies the market making structure can operate constantly, and the hedging mechanism can over cover market fluctuations, and the risk scheduling has been systemized, and this is not just the completion at the design level, it is the confirmation at the operational level. So the system can run stably in real market conditions. This is the first phrase, and many people understand the platform thought its products. Like we have event contract, rhythm contracts, tickets, and perpetual contracts. But internally, we don't view these things starting from products. We focus on capabilities and productized a core capability and a liquidity capability as long as there is a trading behavior in the market, and the liquidity is essential. So trading generates fees, volatility creates spreads, and hedging creates structure of space. And the market making revenue comes from the market structure itself, not from directional predictions. When the execution layer is stable, liquidity capability enters the sustainable phase. This is the current core state. And next comes the efficiency layer upgrades the open order book model, explores liquidity, orders are publicly visible, and the deepest is publicly visible, liquidity will be tested and consumed. Efficiency will decline. The significance of start poor execution lies in improving efficiency. Order structures are not publicly visible, and the execution is unified. Hedging is unified. Liquidation utility increase, and the revenue structure becomes more stable. This is the second phrase. So the execution layer transitions from optionable to higher efficient. Moving forward, we reach the critical layer. When the execution layer is stable and the dark pool model is major, and the liquidity can enter the critical layer, which is very important. So maybe everybody is curious about what does this mean. Actually, basically 5 points. The first one is the rules are written into critical, and the next one is revenue capture is verifiable, governance rights are structured, and the liquidity allocation is transparent, and this is decentralized phrase. So not just a slogan, it is actually a natural extension after capability maturity. When execution is unstable, decentralization amplifies risks, and after execution, stabilized criticalization solidifies the structure. This step marks the third phrase. The logic behind the token lies here. The token is not just for fundraising. The token is a critical tool. It serves, for example, revenue capture, governance rights, and liquidity enhancement, ecosystem incentives, right? And when it will be issued, I would say not based on our timeline, as I said basically previously, and but on structure maturity. When the execution dark pool model critical structure is clear, stable, and the then does the token have the capability to bear its functions. So maybe everybody want to ask what phase are we in now. So basically our team is trying to make progress, like execution layer is stable, dark pool is being advanced, and critical layer is being designed. This is the capability expansion phrase. So participating in staking means participating in the amplification of liquidity capabilities. Structure is already optional. So our path is advancing, and this is basically our current phrase. Yeah, this is basically a roadmap for our platform recently. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Lee, for that. That's a good additional that we discussed, that we emphasize on this aim. It's very important for the audience, of course, to get to know the roadmap that you guys have laid out. I think it's really important to explain this to the audience how far you guys have become, all those milestones that you're about to hit. So thank you so much, Lee, for that. And I think there's no more questions. So thank you so much, Lee, once again for all of this information, all of these updates that you have given us on this AMA. And I think this brings us to the end of today's AMA session. So first and foremost, as we close, thank you very much to you, Lee, and the entire MexQuick team for taking the time to walk us through these important topics and for addressing the community, the community's questions with clarity, transparency, and honesty. So, guys, I think we covered a lot for today. We've covered from the revenue structure, the execution models, to the centralization, the token plans, and even the staking progress. And we even got a look into the roadmap that MaxQuick is following. So, to every one of you listening, we hope this session gave everyone a stronger understanding of where the project stands and where it is headed into the future. So, as always, guys, we encourage everyone to stay informed, follow the official channels for more updates, and continue engaging with the community. So, thank you all for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you in the next AMA. Once again, we'll meet you on the official channels of MaxQuick. So, thank you, everyone. Thank you very much, Lee, and we wish all the very best for Max Quick. Thank you.
Thank you so much, host. Actually, I want to say, if everybody trying to, after experiencing our product and you find it's different from the traditional DX or CX, you're gonna have a lot of fun. So please follow our, official channel to see the latest news or information and trying to have fun on our platform. Yeah, and thank you, host. Thank you, everyone here. See you next time.
Thank you for Shirley. And of course, to the audience who would be, of course, trying out the platform, do not hesitate, of course, to leave some feedback as well. Communicate with the team. So, once again, try it out for yourselves, everyone. All the links are posted already on the Crypto Nexus's official Telegram community. So, thank you, everyone. Thank you once again, Lee, and have a great week ahead. Bye bye.